Still talking matters, social development, social security. And just before the break, we had heard from legal counsel Tim Sukazi, who was talking about the legal journey that the department went through. And just before the break, he was starting to explain the last portion, the last question that was asked of the minister, why she shouldn't be joined in the application, and also had to show just reason why she shouldn't pay the legal bills herself. Tim?
Thanks, Peter. Yeah. As I said, the last order of the judgment requires the minister, or rather required the minister, to file by last week Friday on affidavit and show cause why she shouldn't be joined personally in the proceedings, and secondly, why she shouldn't pay the costs of the litigation herself. So I'm happy to report that that filing has been done, albeit delayed. Obviously, the actual physical filing at court has been done nonetheless. And again, people need to understand, where is the court coming from? Just with that question. Like I said earlier, an impression had been created here that South Africa has got this agency that is in cahoot with a contractor in the form of CPS, and of course, that is looking at every manner and way of evading the law. Okay. And the court, remember, the court is a member of the public. They read newspapers, the judges, they watch television. They, as members of the public, they would be left with that question as to whether or not, can there be any official who should be responsible for the cause? Should it be proven that all what has happened, the anxiety that has been created, the matter before the bringing of the matter before the court was due to their willful conduct. Okay. So we all know the affidavit has been filed. I'm sure many have read it, and all reasons had been given, by the minister explaining her position.
Well, not everybody has read it, Minister, and so the question is, there are emotional statements that have been made by a number of people. Kasatu have said that you're a liability to the department. We've had people saying that you should have been reshuffled. The Chief Justice himself, actually, he was quite animated, saying, it seems as if you should have. He said you should have spent sleepless nights making sure that nothing went wrong. And last night we heard Praveen Gordon saying that you shouldn't be blaming the CEO. He says that you should put your hand up honestly and say, you know what, I didn't pay attention to this. So respond to these people and what they've been saying, because half of society has heard this and they believe that. And so we need to hear your version so that we can have a context.
Peter, thank you very much. Grant beneficiaries highly appreciate the work that was done. I think I must say this whole thing has become a political football. I have never seen so much patriarchy lined up from where I work to every other place that says, no, she must go. Even my colleagues have said so. And Peter, social development is a huge department. And there is a lot of work that is done by that department. And I'm not going to allow men to prescribe to me or to judge me just because they have their very subtle interests. This year, we are going to the conference. And so many interests have come up. I've never seen so many people wanting to be presidents of an organization. So I think there is an element of patriarchy. You will see that through behind the scenes discussions that have been taking place. People going to negotiate so that the day does not succeed. It's not that I could not see that. Those things were very salient. They were very clear. And I really think ministers have to keep quiet because we all have our responsibilities.
All right, so let me ask you this. Do you feel that you were sabotaged by people at SASSA because there is a time delay from when they got legal counsel about going to the Constitutional Court and saying, listen, we're not going to be able to do this. And then from the time that you say you were told about this legal advice, so were they willfully withholding information from you for whatever reason it was? Or could you have better managed them to make sure that you got the information that you required when you required it?
What I heard during the court conversation and judgment was that I should have been hands-on. And we must know that when it suits South Africans, they talk about the separation of powers between administration and the executive authority. Secondly, when writing the response, there was no way I was not going to talk about each and every CEO because they've been in the institution. Peter, these people, some of them were there when SASSA was amalgamated. 2, they have been there when we dealt with the re-registration period. They have been there when we went out to look for everyone who is supposed to be in the system and is not in the system. And there's no way I'm going to say they sabotaged me. I think everyone was busy, but there are things that I have accepted I did not put my finger on. And therefore, I'm going to take my portion of the blame, but also we must be able to accept challenges, all of us, so that we can be able to move forward. I'm no longer in the fighting spree. I'm no longer in the mood or space of discussing so and so did this, so and so did this. I've made my submission to court. Whoever wants to respond is going to respond. But for now, what is important is that this responsibility has been taken over by the president, which means it is being elevated. And what we have to do is to put our hands on the deck. 12 months is too little. There is a lot that has to be done.
Okay, all right. We're going to take another quick break and then we'll continue with our conversation. Don't forget, hashtag TNA BizBrief is our Twitter platform, and we'll get your comments and thoughts at Morning Live SABC as well. All of that coming up.